Hey guys, we got a really interesting subject here tonight, and a lot of people have been talking about this stuff recently. And I'm going to try to give you the best answer I can on this about whether you can work on a tourist visa or SRRV visa. And the first one I'm going to cover is SRRV visas. And a lot of people are going to say, well, no, you can't, or yes, you can, or they're going to say, well, it depends. And I'm going to kind of tell you that it depends. Now, a lot of people have done a lot of vlogging on this, and the subject is all over the place. And this vlog is gonna be a little bit longer than most of my vlogs because of the subject matter, and I want to get into this. And I also want to put the disclaimer out there: no matter what I say, always double check to make sure that it's correct. Now, as far as the SRRV, I think we've got this down pretty pat as far as vlogging goes. As far as other things go, you would have to contact, if you're an SRRV holder, is contact the office there. And the PRA, when they help you, the Philippine Retirement Authority that does the SRRV visas, what they do is they help assist people that are retirees here, and they will ask questions of these other departments in the government to get you the answer to questions. And I asked one of the people there a question, and I got an answer, okay? I asked the question about whether I need to get an AEP, an Alien Employment Permit, to work here and vlog. Now, my vlog, keep in mind, is registered in the United States. I get paid in the United States. And the PRA has said that they would back me 100% if I ever had any problems. So keep that in mind, because they are an entity of the Philippine government, because they're the Philippine Retirement Authority. They work with the BI. Of course, they're going to be some sort of an entity. So they've said that if something happens, they will support me. So I believe them on that. And the response to when I asked her this here about the AEP, because a lot of people out there say, well, to work in the Philippines, you need to get the AEP. This is not totally true unless your Philippine vlog is registered here, and you're getting your check sent to a Philippine bank, and you're getting your tax papers that are coming over here. And also, you have international law here, international law like the dual tax treaties and stuff like that. There's all kinds of little tiny things that get kind of muddy and mucky, and that's the problem with a lot of Philippine law and expats, is that we're going to deal with a lot of that stuff. And this is why this video is going to be a little bit long, and I ask you to please listen to the end. And some of you might not like the answers, but I'm going to try to give you the help that you need to get the answers, and I'm going to give you some answers too, okay? And some of the answers could be correct or wrong. I'm going to go over some stuff that's online that might be wrong, but I'm going to give you the answer directly on the SRRV as far as vlogging goes. And here's the answer. She answers me, "Good evening, sir. My apologies for the late response. You do not need to acquire an AEP is just because you are a freelancer and your income is coming from abroad. Sir, therefore, the Philippine government has nothing to do with the income that you are generating through vlogging social media." Now, a lot of people would question that, but she knows I work here. Okay, a lot of people are going to say, "Steve, that's wrong because you're working here." No, it's where the tax law specifically states that if the income is coming from outside of here, if you're not getting paid from a Philippine entity, then you pay your taxes there. So I'm technically not working here. It'd be just like if let's say a company like a bank, could be Citibank or Wells Fargo or any other bank, they send somebody over from the United States to come over here to train somebody or show them something, okay? And they come over here, they stay 3 months or 2 months or whatever. They're not going to pay taxes over here. They're going to pay it back in the U.S. because they're registered with the company back there. That's the way things work in most countries. But a lot of vloggers muddy the waters on things. Now, it also depends, like I said, it depends where your vlog is registered. Now, to get into this stuff about who's wrong and who's right, I'm gonna go into this guy. He calls himself the Naked Expat. I'm not gonna knock his blog. I want to talk about this, but I want to say that the guy is giving information here, and it's kind of funky the way he answers it, and I can kind of see why he answers it the way he does. The question on his vlog is, can SRRV holders work in the Philippines? He says this question appears all over social media and a lot of confusion about what an SRRV entitles you to do. The Philippine Retirement Authority website incorrectly previously stated SRRV holders were exempt from work, study, or investment visas. Okay? What they meant was SRRV holders didn't need an additional visa. However, all foreigners and aliens require an alien employment permit. Now, you just heard what I said. Okay? And also, you do not need to register if you're a student and stuff like that, but we're not going to get into that right now. That's a whole different ballgame by itself. According to what I heard from the Philippine Retirement Authority website. And to work here, yes, you can work here, and it does depend on certain things. As I said, each individual is going to be different. But he says this, he says about the AEP. Now, you just heard what I said on here, what she said. That's coming from the PRA themselves. So I checked with the PRA. Apparently, this guy didn't call, and it depends on how you word your question. If you say I'm working here, I get my check here, AdSense pays me here. Now we're talking about YouTube vloggers again, and if you're working here, it'd be a whole different answer. Because when you apply for the alien employment permit, you have to prove that a Filipino cannot fill that job. Now, we have people here that work in answering telephones. They're Americans in some cases. And they need American-speaking people that speak very well. There's a lot of Filipinos that speak English here very well. That's their second language. But some places would like to hire Americans. They'll pay more. And they'll put them in a management position, because some people, I've called up places before and the English was not that good, to an Indian place, and they had an American working. I says, could I please speak with an American? I really would like to speak with an American. And they actually put an American on. It was with some phone service that I was calling, and they put an American on there, which is kind of funny. And I don't know if they were out of country or in country, but I kind of took it they were in country. And I'm sure that would be a job that an American could take over. Now, this guy goes into this here. He says, although the PRA website has been subtly updated, Google will highlight search results that include both old and new wordings. The current PRA statement is now clear. It says PRA assists in securing some government documents like driver's license, National Bureau of Investigation clearance, and alien employment permit, among others. Okay? But that's only if it's needed. Okay? They're not going to get it for you if you do not need it. And I think he's extrapolating information out of that. And I'm not knocking him. I think a lot of people that are over here extrapolate the wrong information from stuff, because it's the way you word the questions. If you word the questions properly, you're going to get the right answer. If you do not word it properly and you just throw it out there, hey, can I work in the Philippines? On an SRRV visa, they're probably going to give you a one-word answer, yes or no. And there's no way to. That's not the way to ask the question. Okay, and I'm going to say this a few times on here, because we have some people out there with really hard heads that don't get that. And he says, can I work in the Philippines on an SRRV? Short answer is no. He says you cannot. And that's just not true. The SRRV only allows you to stay in the Philippines permanently if you maintain your annual ID card payments. He says all SRRV holders are required to separately apply for an alien employment permit as stated by the Philippines Dole Regulations 2022 revisions. So in other words, he's saying, no, the short answer is no, you cannot, but yet he's saying that you would register for your alien employment permit. Why would you apply for one if you couldn't work? It doesn't make any sense what he just said. Now, we also have vloggers out there saying the same thing, that you cannot work. It's just totally false in some cases, because it depends again on, what the job is. Okay, let's see. Holders of other functional visas such as Special Investors Resident Visa, SRRV, Special Resident Retiree Visa, Treaty Traders 9D Visa, or the Special Immigrant Visa are also subject to an AEP. So in other words, you can work here if you get the AEP. But here's where it gets sticky, okay? And I think he is kind of wrong on this, because when I get into some other things on here that I'm going to read to you later, you'll see how sticky this really, really gets. Now he gets into the applying for the Alien Employment Permit, AEP. Applying for an alien employment permit in the Philippines is, as you will have guessed, a tricky affair. It needs to be proven that your job is so specific and unique that it cannot be fulfilled by a local Filipino citizen, okay? That are usually obtainable for fixed term employment where a firm needs outside help for a particular skill set. If you are an SRRV holder in the process of applying for an SRV and wish to work in the Philippines, then your local PRA office will happily assist you in applying for an alien employment permit. Although the PRA will assist you in any way they can, free of charge, they are very helpful. Application fees are applicable, and success is not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed, but he's still not saying that you can't work totally. So it's kind of funny that he answers it no in the beginning, because he's contradicting himself here. Okay, and like I said, I'm not trying to put down this guy, and I'm not. I'm just showing you how confusing the laws are here, and how you have to ask the questions. Okay, so the answer is never always no, it's maybe. Okay, it depends on a lot of different things. And that AEP thing, like he said, does confuse things. And a lot of people say, well, I'm not going to bother. It's worth fighting, because you can argue that a vlogger, the only person that can fill those shoes is you. Nobody can be you. You know, can you put a Filipino on your vlog? You know, and when you're trying to talk to expats and you're an American and it's to help Americans, I think an American kind of fits that bill. You know, if you were going to register your vlog in the Philippines and get your tax stuff sent here, that you could certainly put in for the AEP probably if you needed to. But I'm not sure if you need to, because it is, again, and some people are saying it is, again, it's a gig job, okay? And when it's a gig job, it is a little bit different in some cases. And that's the thing, you need to talk to an attorney or whatever. Again, if you're registered outside, it changes things. So each thing is different. So you cannot put each person into the same hole. Each person fits in a different hole. A square expat goes into a square hole. A circular one goes into a circular one. There's no set answer for each person. Okay, what constitutes work in the Philippines? Okay. He says any type of work in the Philippines without an alien employment permit for SRRV holders is illegal. You heard what she said. I read it. Okay? This includes manual or intellectual work, including but not limited to digital nomads. Okay? Online content creators, he puts down YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, OnlyFans, online shops, affiliate marketing revenue. He's wrong, because it depends where you register, okay? And he doesn't talk about that. And yes, this implies to paid, unpaid, missionary, and charity work also, he says. He says missionary, which I disagree with him on that. That's a totally different thing and shouldn't be mentioned in here, although the latter is likely to be excused. He says, do not mix up Philippine taxation rules, which for foreign offshore generated income from offshore entities, including offshore servers, is typically immune from local Philippine taxation, as you know, and has nothing to do with visas or work permits. Now, he's kind of, what he just said kind of ties in with what I'm saying here, that what she said. Okay, I think that kind of ties in with that, because he says it has nothing to do with visas. So in other words, if he's saying, you know, Philippine taxation, which any offshore generated income from offshore entities, including, is typically immune from local taxation, has nothing to do with visas or work permits. Now, you could take that two ways. You could say that he's kind of saying that you don't need the work visa or work permits or something like that. You could kind of take it that way, or you could take it the other way. He kind of leaves that hanging there. So his conclusion, he has it in big yellow letters, that SRRV is a retirement visa and should not be misconstrued as anything else. Now, you see what I'm saying here? This is where people get confused. Now, I want to go into this here now. I'm going to go into something. I typed in, can you work with the SRRV Visa? Okay? Can you work with the SRRV Visa? And here's one of the answers from the Philippine Retirement Authority themselves. And it says on here, when you ask this question on Google, can you work with SRRV Visa? I questioned it like that. And you will really like all the stuff that pops up on this, because as you go down through all this stuff, it has a ton of questions that are very interesting on here, and you may want to look into. Okay, the first thing it says is the SRRV Visa is a lifetime visa and its holders are exempt from the Bureau of Immigration requirements. Okay, and its holders are exempt from the Bureau of Immigration requirements. SRRV holders are also eligible to work, study, or invest in the Philippines. Let's see. Another thing here, it says people also ask, can you work in the Philippines on a retirement visa? Foreign nationals who want to make the Philippines their second home can easily obtain a retirement visa through the Special Resident Retirees Visa SRRV program. With a Philippine retirement visa, you are eligible to work, study, or invest in the Philippines, and that's not old news. That's not out of date. What are the benefits of the SRRV? Benefits of the SRRV given to the future foreign nationals and overseas Filipino retirees are as follows: indefinite stay, access to the Greet and Assist program, and selected airports, free subscription to the PRA letter, and as much more. They help you with other departments of the government. If you have questions and stuff, they will help you look it up. We can get into all kinds of stuff. It says, can a foreign apply for work in the Philippines? Let's look at that one. This is what the answer is. An alien employment permit, AEP, is required for foreign nationals who want to work in the Philippines for more than 6 months. When they're saying work in the Philippines, it means you're working, taking the job of a Filipino, or working in the Philippines and getting paid from the Philippines. Your check is derived from the Philippines. So guess what? You have to pay taxes in the Philippines, and you have to register as an alien, get an alien employment permit. Okay? And again, disclaimer, always check with an attorney and bring up these things with the attorney, because some attorneys are not well versed in this stuff. And I'm just being honest with you that a lot of people are confused by their own laws here. And when you could talk to a BIR agent, and unless you ask the question properly, you might get a wrong answer. And when you ask another person, you might get another answer. And when you ask another person, you'll get another answer here. It's part of living in the Philippines, okay? So that's why I stuck it on to the PRA, because I wasn't getting good answers. And the PRA, they have people high up that can check with other people that are high up to get the proper answers. And when I asked them the taxation question, I got a good answer from that too, about where you pay your taxes. I did a video on that before, about a month and a half, 2 months ago, or something like that, or whenever it was. And I read that, and they also said they would support me if the BIR or anybody ever gave me a hard time. Now, and it says, can I work with a temporary resident visa in the Philippines? Now that's not a tourist visa, as most people would think. It says TRV holders are exempt from securing the alien employment permit should they wish to be employed in the Philippines. However, this is a key thing. This is why a lot of people get confused, and they say, well, I had to get one because they told me to get one. However, while the TRV, the temporary resident visa, is being processed, a special work permit, SWP, is advisable if locally employed. Okay, so there's some answers there. I'm trying to give you all the answers I can give you, because it's not one pat answer of yes or no ever in the Philippines. Get used to it. I'm not trying to be cocky here or anything. It's just the way it works here. And this is a very touchy subject with a lot of people, because a lot of people don't know what they're talking about, and they're vlogging about it, and they don't do the homework. Well, you can Google, can you work on an SRRV visa, and you can get a lot of answers on there, but you really got to think it out, and also you should talk to an attorney. Let's see, this one here. How much does the SRRV visa cost? I'm not going to look at that one. We've talked about that before. Let's see. Can I work in the Philippines on a tourist visa? All foreign nationals who intend to work in the Philippines is required by the government to secure an AEP from the Department of Labor and Employment. AEP, again, is an alien employment permit. This permit authorizes foreign nationals to engage in gainful activities provided that no domestic manpower is available for that particular designation. There are jobs out there, folks, that you can work in the Philippines. It can only be filled by Americans because maybe you're an engineer, maybe you know how to do things that some people over here are not trained for. There's not enough people to fill that position, okay? But that is an answer. And you know, they can switch you over to another visa that you can work or whatever, but yes, you can work here. Okay? And you know, there's so many different, if you go down this thing here, I mean, I can go on, can a U.S. citizen live and work in the Philippines? There's another one. Aside from the work visa, you have to apply for the AEP again. Your employer also has to apply for it at the Department of Labor and Employment regional offices. Okay, so there's another answer. Gig jobs are different here. And for you guys that are over here as tourists, if you're collecting your check and you're getting a tax form over here for to file taxes in the Philippines, then yes, you're going to pay taxes in the Philippines. But if you're deriving your income from outside, if you work a job from the United States and they're sending you over here to work 3 months or 6 months or a year or whatever, you're not working for the Philippines. You're deriving your check from over there, so you pay your taxes there and not here. You know, a lot of people come over here temporary. There's a lot of people in here from the United States government that are working here. There's people in the embassy that work here. They're not paying taxes over here. They're paying taxes back in the U.S. But also remember, there's people that comes in here that are military. They don't pay taxes over here. They pay taxes back in the U.S. It's the way the world works, and tax laws are very funky. And also we have the dual, you know, the tax treaty, which makes it so that they can't tax you over here and tax you in the United States on the same thing. So you don't get dual tax. Sometimes if you do pay taxes over here on a job over here, what they'll do is they'll deduct. If you pay taxes over here, that comes off over there on your taxes over there. But we're not getting into taxes. That's a totally different thing for a different day. Here's another thing. Do you need a work visa to work in the Philippines? Most foreign nationals who want to work in the Philippines need to get the alien employment. We read that already. Afterwards, they can apply for other functional visas aligned with the work they're looking to do and the time frame they're looking to stay for. Here's a guy, Rippling, RIPPLING.com. It says work permits for employees in the Philippines, a complete guide. So when you look up this thing, again, you just Google, can you work with SRRV Visa? It'll also cover tourist visas on here, everything about working in the Philippines and stuff. But keep in mind, there's a lot of stuff to get into this, and I'm not going to say yes or no, because you cannot give a yes or no answer on this. Okay, it's not that easy. Do you require visa sponsorship to work in the Philippines? It says the application for the 9G work visa must be sponsored by your employer and can be filed through the Bureau of Immigration. It can take up to 2 or 3 months to complete the process. That's if somebody wants you to work here. Let's see, unintended consequences of the special resident. That has to do with other things. But I just want to get into that because I thought that might help you guys. And the tourist visa, keep in mind the tourist visa is for tourists. It's really not meant for working over here. If you're a vlogger, again, like I said, I would think that what's being said for the SRRV holders would hold true for vloggers over here. I can't answer for other jobs. I'm talking about for vloggers, so I'm not going to answer that. I think that's a question that would have to go to an attorney over here, somebody that helps people with stuff like that, and ask the attorney, hey, I want to work over here, because you're probably going to have to get the AEP. You're probably going to have to apply for a different visa over here. So that's my answer for that. And again, I said I put the disclaimer out there. Always talk to an attorney and double check this stuff. And that's why I'm giving you guys and teaching you guys how to, ask the question on Google. Can you work with SRRV Visa or a tourist visa? You could put on there also. It answers some of the questions, and it really gets into it and delves deep. But you really need to talk to an attorney for some of these questions. And again, you have to explain exactly what you're doing in the Philippines. There's no pat answer. And for somebody out there, there's a couple of vloggers within the past week that have said, if you're on the tourist visa, you can't work. If you're on the SRRV visa, you can't work. That's a bunch of hokey and baloney. It's just not true. And I don't care, you know, who the guy talked to, who told him that. If you don't ask the questions properly and you don't tell these people how you're registered or where you're registered and stuff like that, these people think a certain thing, and they're not going to give you the proper advice or the proper answer to whatever you're talking about. I specifically asked the PRA. The PRA gave me an answer as far as SRRV holders. As far as tourist visas, yes, you do have to get the AEP for some things. If you're going to be working here, doing a job here. As far as vlogging, again, check with an attorney, because SRRV holders for sure can. I would say that the tourist things would probably carry over, but check with your attorney. Get an attorney, pay her $20, $30, $40, get the question answered. Tell them what I said, have them watch what I said, you know, because it holds for SRRV holders, okay? And I would say because your income's coming from outside the US, if that's where it's coming from, then it's going to be different, and you can do the vlogging, you know. So a lot of people are getting confused over here. They're worried about their tax stuff. The tax thing is a whole different issue. I've already did a video on that before in the past. I've answered that already. As far as vlogging, it depends where you're registered, stuff like that. You know, there's a lot of vloggers that travel, that go from country to country to country. You know, they're not going to make these people file to work there when they're you know, international vloggers. And our channel is an international vlog that goes out to all different nations and talks to different nations about how to come here. And you know, some people are saying also, well, it depends on what you vlog and how you vlog it. And no, it really doesn't. It's according to what I've read and everything I've asked. And like I said, I've asked the PRA. They know my situation. They explained to me everything, and they explained to the BIR everything, and they got back to me and they gave me the correct answer. And that's it, guys. That's the best answer I can give you. I know a lot of people aren't going to be happy with that, but that's the best answer I can give you in all honesty. And please Google, can you work with SRRV Visa? Google it. I think you guys will see a lot of stuff on there. As you go down, there's a lot of questions on there, and this will answer. You can type in, can you work with a tourist visa in the Philippines, or you don't even have to. Usually it will just answer, you know, it answers because it knows you're in the Philippines. So if you Google that, a lot of people don't use Google to ask legal questions, and sometimes you should, because there's a lot of good answers on there, and it actually is quite interesting, some of the stuff on there. And don't always go by, like I looked on that blog there, and I don't want to slam that blog because it was actually quite interesting and quite good, because it kind of actually enlightened me a little bit about what people are thinking out there. And again, he kind of answered my questions even more by saying what he said. Even though he says, no, you can't, you can. He even said that himself. He says, you know, if you, basically you need to get an AEP if you're going to work. But, you know, if you're going to work, I mean, why would you apply for an AEP if you're not going to work? So in other words, he's saying, yes, some people do work. So you cannot say no. It's, again, back to where we were. It depends on the situation. Anyway, guys, God bless. I hope I didn't over talk tonight a little bit about this, but this is, you know, it's a 30-minute video. I just wanted to put it out there that this is the best answer. And that's all I got for you guys. So sorry, guys, but that's the best I can give you. Anyway, guys, God bless. Take care. I hope that helped you guys out there answer a lot of questions. God bless, guys. Take care.